Welcome to Commander's Comments. I'm your producer for the evening, Harrison. Without further ado, here is our Chief of Heritage Operations, Mr. Ron Kennedy.
Thank you, Moose. We appreciate all the hard work you put into putting these programs on for us. I'm very excited. We've had a lot going on the last month. We've kept the Commander-in-Chief very busy. We're not going to let him be a lame duck. We're going to work him until he drops. At least he'll finish his term in July. He's been a wonderful commander. He's gone all over the Confederation. I've tried to keep up with him, but I'm just too old to keep up with such a young guy. Appreciate all of y'all tuning in to hear about what's going on in the Confederation, the Sons of Confederate Veterans. We are super busy, very active, and with no more than that said, I am going to ask our Commander-in-Chief Jason Boshers to take over and give us an idea of what you've been doing. And I still want to know where you got that beautiful flag behind you.
Well, I will be happy to talk about it. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. I do appreciate you, Mr. Ron Kennedy. First of all, I'm going to ask everybody to take a moment because we all need to remember what was happening 80 years ago today, June the 6th, 1944. It was actually a day that changed America and its status all over the world, because it started America turning into the only superpower. Think about the logistics and the manpower and everything it took leading up to June 5th. And then we all know, if you know your history, actually June 6, 1944 was one of the first days when, as a young man, that I learned the history of the United States. I became familiar with June 6, 1944, as many of us had ancestors who were there or knew men who were there. And at my age, I'm 60, I was been fortunate enough and blessed enough to have talked to a few of those men who were there. And we need to think about what all of those men were going through at this point in time. And that's regardless of the logistics of what I said of getting the United States and getting all of that happen. That was what those men went through. And we need to be thinking about those men during that time, because there's not a lot of them left. And
we're losing them very fast. And not to take anything away from the Normandy landing, just don't forget about the Marines and Army and Navy personnel in the Pacific that went through a special hell of their own. And although they didn't, if they had invaded Japan, it would have been bigger than Normandy. That's for sure. Thank God they didn't have to do that. But they had numerous D-days and islands across the Pacific. And I'm a fan of the Pacific Theater. That's why I'm saying that. But the men on both sides, and someone raised the question online whether or not the current generation would be able to do what that generation did, what they endured, what they suffered, what they lived through. They're not called the greatest generation for nothing. And that was my parents. That was like Jason. Of course, I'm older than Jason, but I went to school with men who one of my teachers bailed out of a transport ship plane and had to walk back across the lines to get back. It's really son. And we've got to remember that we are the sons of Confederate veterans, but we honor all veterans, and we are one of the oldest, if not the oldest, continually operating veterans organization. And when we go out and clean graves or grave markers of Confederate veterans, if we see a World War II, World War I grave that needs cleaning, we'll take care of that too. So that's just something, and that's not even anything we had to talk about today. But thank you, Commander, for bringing that up.
I needed to, we all need to remember where we're coming from where we came from so we can know where we're going. And we are the oldest and the longest heritage organization in the United States concerning the veterans. And as far as the flag behind me that you mentioned, I went and I spoke to a camp down in Mississippi, and Moose Harrison, but everybody calls him Moose. This was his camp, and of course we're all well aware of his father, and him being the voice of the SCV. Who can forget when he goes to say those words at the start of that video? There is a place. That is, where you are when you hear that. They invited me to come down because they were having their 30th anniversary. And I did a proclamation for them, and I went down, and they actually had an original charter member there, and I recognized him. And then I gave them the proclamation, and then they presented me with this camp flag. And I had it up on Look Around Florida on Tuesday night, and I figured, you know what, I'm going to leave it up for this one. And I want to thank them, the Samuel H. Poe camp. They're a great camp. There was a great turnout. I understand that both Harrison and his father Forrest have both told me that it was a great turnout and there were good results from it. But I'll let them tell you about that. Now, as far as the reason why I look as red as I am today, I'm going to be leaving for Mississippi for the Mississippi Division reunion. And I needed to get my yard cut today, okay? And I had to weed eat it because I didn't weed eat it the last time I cut it. I just cut it because I was heading out for Virginia. So I had 2 to 3 weeks worth of weed eating to do, plus the mowing that is required. And I have rock walls around the property, so I did a lot of weed eating. I know, but I haven't had time to put out the liquid weed eater yet, okay? The liquid weed eater would normally be out by now, but we have had a tremendous amount of rain here in Middle Tennessee. And it even rained yesterday morning. I was lucky. So that's the reason why I didn't mow yesterday, so I mowed today. And that's the reason why I look as red as I am because, well, I was out in the sun most of the afternoon, and I had stuff to do this morning. So I did not get a chance to do it when it was 70 degrees. I had to do it when it was near 90. So y'all bear with me on this, but that's the reason why I'm as red as I am.
Well, that's something that all of us comment on, because Donald, the Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief, he is in the same situation as I am. We're so busy with, as you are, of course, not nearly as busy as you are, but we're still occupying so much time getting ready for Virginia. It had been raining down here, so when I came back, my yard looked like a hayfield, and I've got a little over an acre to work on. So it's, but anyway, that's just part, of the service provided by volunteers with the Sons of Confederate Veterans.
Yes, sir. We all need to remember this is a volunteer organization as well. So we commit our time, but when you say yes to something, you say no to something else. And the particular no to this was I didn't get my yard cut when I should have gotten it cut. So I had a little extra work to do today. So
why don't you tell us about the SCV donation page we've got going on?
Yes, sir. We need to, I'm still going to harp on this and still going to talk about this because this is very critical for our organization. And I'm still going to touch on what we need to do for the relief fund. As you know, we're in that time of year. We have Mr. Kennedy that is on here down in Louisiana. You're very familiar with everything with the tornadoes and the flooding and the hurricanes. Yep. As you know, we've had flooding in Texas. We had tornadoes here in Tennessee. The museum did not get any damage. The Forrest Boyhood Home did not get any damage, but we had damage in other places throughout the county. And we had some members that got hit. Even our executive director, Adam Southern, lost part of his roof and had a tree to come down on his house. So he has been dealing with that as well. But, there's been tornadoes in Oklahoma. There's been tornadoes in Kentucky. And this is one of those ways that members help members. And I'm encouraging everybody to help with that relief fund. And if you know somebody who has had damage or you have had damage, contact your camp commander, brigade commander, division commander, and get the information sent up. And they can make a request to receive funds. And that's not a lot of money, but it's enough to, get you some food, get you some clothes, get you a night to stay, something. And it is something, and that's the way for brothers, us to help each other. But there's other things on this as well. We all know about the museum. You're going to see a huge push over that because our note is due in a year, June of 2025. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about it again. As I mentioned it before, we have reduced the debt that we owe the bank down to about 1.1 million. We don't want to go back to the bank and refinance this when this balloon note hits, that's what we would have to do. If we don't get it paid for, it's what we're going to have to do. And if you've done any kind of banking or you are aware of anything that is going on in our financial realm in the U.S., in other words, have you bought gas? Have you been to the grocery store? If you put gas in your vehicle and you've gone to the grocery store, you know how prices have risen. Well, that is also the same with our the interest rate we would get. Right now, we have a very favorable interest rate. When we go back, we're not going to get that good a rate. So the push is to get this off of us, and we're going to cover that in a little bit. But this museum fund is a way for you to go out there and set up and make donations to the museum. You can set it up to where you can have monthly payments taken out. You can also make a one-time donation. And if you want it to go toward the principal instead of toward the payments or anything else with the museum, then you can set it to go toward the principal. So, that's left up to you. It's your money. You're donating it. You put it to what you want to put it to. And we also have Heritage Defense as the Arlington fight still continues. There's been a brief that is being filed. The lawsuit with that's going to continue. And as you know, there's lawsuits going out throughout the Confederation. And that's something, if Heritage Defense is important to you, that's something that you can contribute to. And of course, we know about putting it back up and resurrecting the Nathan Bedford Forrest Plaza that is coming from Memphis. That people have contributed to that very well. But as you know, the longer we go from doing it, the more expensive it's going to cost us. At the time we interred Forrest and we were looking at doing that, which is now approaching 3 years, we were looking at about 150,000. Now they're saying 225 is a rough estimate, but we're going to have money in the bank because we are not going to the bank to borrow money to do this. If the membership wants it up, members will donate to put it up. We're not going to the bank to do this. So when the money gets raised, that's when we'll get the actual hard tax, hard dates, hard times, hard financials on it, and y'all be the first to know. But that's another thing. Then we have Heritage Promotions, as Mr. Kennedy right there with us. Mr. Kennedy, would you like to say something about Heritage Promotions?
Well, I just want to thank everybody who has been loyal to the Confederate Legion. You paid your money into Confederate Legion. We've got this real sharp guy who's doing the membership of the Confederate Legion, keeping up with that, issuing the certificates. He even designed the certificate. And I really, really appreciate him doing that. I don't know where he finds all the time, but our Commander-in-Chief is doing that for us right now. He thinks that come July, he's going to get out of that. But I have a feeling the new Commander-in-Chief is going to insist that he help with the Confederate Legion in that regards. But nonetheless, we have a lot of opportunities to I'm really working with different camps who are trying to preserve their monuments, replace their monuments, but mainly to get the public on our side. And that's what your donations, that's what your $50 membership goes for, to help pay for those. We don't pay for all of it. We'll go to an area where they're having problems, and we'll say, look, if you'll put up 500 for radio ads, we'll match that 500. Or if you'll buy X number of Dixie Defenders, we'll match that and help you with it. So that's where that money goes.
Yes, and that is a very important piece. Heritage Promotions, Confederate Legion, they're critical in getting our information out there. And I'm going to touch on something here a little later that's going to explain that a little better, because our Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief, it came to me late one afternoon about doing an interview. I was not able to do it because I was already headed somewhere to talk. So I put it out there, and our Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief, the Mississippi Tornado, Mr. Walter D. Donnie Kennedy, was the one that got on there. And I'm going to call him the Mississippi Tornado because he was born in Mississippi, he not?
That's right.
He did the interview, and I'll give you a little bit of update on that, but I want him to talk about that in detail on what he went through with that. But that is all part of our Heritage Promotions and getting our name out there. We also, if education is important to you, we have the Stan Waddy Scholarship Fund that you can donate to that. Then, of course, we have Elm Springs. If you want to help put this beautiful antebellum home that is on our property, the historic Elm Springs, started construction in 1835, finished in 1837. We're putting it back to the 1840, 1850 time frame. So it is going to be a home for that time. And if that's something that you like, you can contribute to that as well. Then we have artifacts, because, as you know, artifacts come up, and sometimes we have been very, very lucky with the museum, because our members have donated to make it happen. That's the artifacts that we have. Our members have done it. Well, we have some great artifacts that pop up every now and then, and that would be nice if we could purchase some or do something like that. And if you're into that, donate to the Artifacts Fund. And then, of course, we have the Nathan Bedford Forrest Boyhood Home that you can contribute to. Now, you can go to the SCV website, go to the PayPal donations, and make it that way. But let's say that you're old school and you want to write a check, okay? You can write it to the Sons of Confederate Veterans, put in the memo line what you want to go to. Now, Moose, I'm going to give this address, and if you want to, you can pop it up. It is, and you can mail it to P.O. Box 59, P.O. Box 59, Columbia, Tennessee, 38402. And you can go to the website and get that address as well. But Moose, if you want to take the time to pop that up, I know you're behind the scenes working. If you can get to it, wonderful. If you can't, I understand, because right now you're herding cats behind the scene. I would like to, because I'm fixing to ask Moose to do something else, because we have the Friends of the SCV and the Cadets. I would like to talk about the Friends of the SCV, because that is, as we have talked on here many times, that is a asset to our organization that needs more focus and needs more attention. There's a lot of people in our organization that's out there in the that are sympathetic with our cause. They're Southerners at heart. They believe in what we're doing, but they do not have the ancestry, so they're not able to join. Well, we can take and put them in the Friends of the SCV. And if, let's just say that you're a member, and you could sign your wife up for the Friends of the SCV. So you can sign, the Friends of the SCV is open to males and females. You do not have to be a male to be a member. The only thing that you do not get as a friend of the SCV is you get to stay out of the politics, because you do not have to vote, or you do not get to vote.
Right.
So it is joining the organization for all the fun stuff without staying out of the politics, because now you're just going straight to benefiting the organization, and there is no voting rights with the Friends. But that is one thing that we need to keep. Moose has it popped up there.
Yep.
Thank you. And it's 38402 Moose, but 38401 is fine. That's Columbia has grown so much that it has actually adopted a second zip code. But I'm sure they'll be able to find it with the 38401, but it's actually 38402. So we need the friends of the SCV, and then of course with the cadets. I recently had a cadet come of age in my camp and contacted his daddy. Didn't contact him, I contacted his daddy. And his daddy said, yeah, let's make him a member. So it was one of those things that his daddy hadn't thought of. So we made him a member, and because he got age, and I was notified that he was a cadet, and I went through that. And then when we found that out, we found out that his daddy had made him a life member. His granddaddy had made him a life member. So he had joined as a cadet, and his grandfather had made him a life member. So he got his membership certificate and his life membership certificate. Wow. So, that's a guy that is in for generations to come. Attaboy Moose, you got it corrected. Thank you, brother. And that is, that's the purpose of this organization. And I don't have them on my cheat sheet here, but I want to talk about the Children of the Confederacy. I visited with them several times over the last year. And I want to tell you that the Children of the Confederacy are fantastic. They're wonderful. And my association with them, if you would look at their President General, Caroline Tucker, she is a fantastic young lady. And she has written articles for our Confederate Veteran magazine. If you've read the magazine, you've seen them in there. This is also one of those, and I hate to call it this way, but it really is. It's kind of a feeding area coming into our organization. And that's the way we are with the cadets. The cadets, I'm going to try to, I've already put a letter together and asking for as many cadets to reach out. And if their parents or grandparents or somebody can have them at the national reunion for a talk, in the afternoon on Friday in the main meeting hall, and we're going to talk to the cadets and really push the cadet program. So even if you're wondering if you want to put your child or your grandchild in the cadet program, come to that meeting on Friday, and we'll be working and talking about the cadet program. So that's going to be probably about 3:00. I haven't got that time worked out yet with Rick. Because right now, and we'll find out about the reunion here a little later, but we want to push this cadet program. And I'm also wanting to push the Children of the Confederacy, because that is also a feeding ground into organizations. The Children of the Confederacy are male and female. So it is a great asset for as people turn of age and go into the Sons of Confederate Veterans, or they can turn of age and go into the United Daughters of the Confederacy. So I want to push those programs. And I can tell you right now, Caroline Tucker and the Children of the Confederacy, they're great asset. And they were a great group of people to be around. And I had a fantastic time with them. And I do want to push that. Now, I'm going to talk about something that has labored long enough. And then I'm going to kind of give y'all some good news and some bad news. That is the bricks and pavers. As you know, when this whole thing started, we were going to put them around the equestrian statue. We don't know when the equestrian statue is going to put up. I was asked to do a rendering because we were going to put them around the Jeff Davis statue. I went to find my rendering, and I don't know if how many of you know this, but I had a complete computer crash, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. And I lost that rendering, because we had a full rendering of it as to the size and the scale and the shape and the layout of the bricks. And I have not had time to recreate that. But that is something that I know that that Adam probably has a copy of, because him and I worked on this together. But that's going to, because it's when we originally designed it, it was heading straight out from the Jeff Davis statue. So when we decided it didn't need to be a walkway to nowhere, okay? So we redesigned it to where it was going to loop back in to the top of the Jeff Davis statue. That way it is a sidewalk going there. So we looped it out far enough to cover the bricks that we have right now. And we're going to build a walkway across. And we already have benches. I'm going to talk about the benches in a minute because I know the Kennedys have purchased a bench. And I'm going to give them some news on their bench and the news on the other benches. And I just threw together a quick drawing last night because I want to get this out there because this has languished on long enough. I just haven't had time to put the time into it that was necessary to get it going. Well, there's my phone ringing. That's my house phone. So we'll ignore that for a minute because I'm not going to answer it because that's probably a spam risk. It's labored on long enough. I haven't had the time to fool with it. As you know, I'm rolling out of office in about 5 weeks. And in that time, I will begin working on this in earnest, trying to go ahead and get this wrapped up and get this project going. We went to, as you know, we have examples of the bricks and pavers and Moose. I sent you some pictures. Do you mind popping up the pictures of the bricks and the pavers? Now, that is the brick. That's the 4x8 brick. Now, if you'll notice, this is the Pine Hall Brick Company, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. As you know, I was outsourcing them, and we did not get good quality bricks. So I went to a local sales rep here in Columbia, and he said Pine Hall makes them. So he got us these bricks. And we sent them to have engraved to test the engraving. You'll notice that color is the rumbled cocoa. And then there's another one that has that is on there, Moose. If you want to pop it up, that actually shows the paver. Now, that is a whole lot more lines than what we were putting on there. And if you'll notice on both of those pictures, when you test something, you test to fail. You don't test to see if it's going to work. You test to see if it's going to fail. Because some of the bricks we had earlier, where you had the top of the T's and that line going across, if they did not have enough clay in the bricks, they would start to chip off and take on water, which would mean that they would crack. So, and then they would actually turn into what they call pumpkin brick, which means they would become brittle and just end up coming because they end up having so much water in them. So we got this going. We tested them. It was ready to go. I went and ordered these bricks, and they told me it's going to be, the only way they could sell them to me was in cubes. A cube has 470 bricks in it. So I was going to have to order 470 bricks and 470 pavers, which wasn't going to be that much of a problem because we'd be able to have them there and have them on site. And when we had an order, because our engraver is located in Columbia as well. So if we had somebody that come in and ordered 10 bricks, we could just take 10 bricks, go to the engraver, have them engrave them and bring them and put them back. That was also going to save us on shipping. And then I get a call from the sales rep because of the low shortage of bricks and so many homes being made, they were not going to be making pavers anymore. Oh. Okay. This has come out at the ending part of last week. So the brick rep said, I can find somebody else. Thank you. So right now we're looking at Belden Brick Company, and they have, and you can look them up online, Belden Brick Company, Belden. And we have decided on the Victorian brick and paver, which they're doing plenty of. They're staying in cycle. So it's not going to be any of these that they discontinue. Pine Hall is not doing any more pavers at all. They have discontinued that practice altogether because they said they have enough work going on just making bricks for building homes that they don't need to do them. So Belden does have them in the Victorian, and we're getting samples of them now for us to test. So that is coming now. So as soon as those get in, we'll keep you up to date on that. Now, that's the story of the bricks and pavers. Now I want to talk about the benches. I was in Virginia, and I get a call from our person who has been doing our benches, and he has also been doing some headstones for us. And they're the Confederate stones that come to a point. He said, he goes, I got your stuff ready. And I said, okay, which ones do you have? And he goes, well, I got your 2 stones. Okay, he was talking about the headstones. So those are already on site. He's already brought them down. I said, well, what's about the benches? He says, I've got them and I'm engraving them. So he said that he has finally had stock that is coming in at not a good pace, nothing like what they had before, but instead of it being a year and a half turnaround, he said he thinks it is now going to be down to about 8 or 9 months. He said, but I've already got these and I am engraving them now. So I'm expecting within the next couple of weeks, and I'm hoping by reunion, we're going to have 5 benches show up. Now, 2 of those benches are going to go in the garden, the Jeff Davis garden. And that's the reason why I'm going to be pushing to get that done, because Adam and I already had it marked out and how big it was, the size of the sidewalks and the whole thing, because we've got to pour a concrete pad, because we're not going to put the benches on the walkway. We're going to leave the walkway open. We're going to build a cubby hole to set the benches on. So we already had a gentleman that has agreed to get those benches, and he has already purchased those, and those are 2 benches are coming. We've also had these 2 men. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're called the Kennedy twins. And the Kennedy twins have been very nice and very polite about jumping on me. When are these benches coming? Your benches are being engraved. They finally showed up, but they're going to match the rest of them. They're Georgia stone. Good. So we didn't go with any, because he's called me a time. Well, he hadn't reached out to me in the last couple of months. He's been real busy. But he talked to me at one time about, well, I can get these from China cheaper and I can get them quicker. Well, I didn't want the Chinese benches on this property. Yeah. I made that decision. And if you want to yell at anybody, you yell at me. I'm the person that made that decision. I wanted the Georgia stone. And he said, if you do the Georgia stone, you're going to have to wait on it. And we waited. I appreciate everybody that's been patient. Now, there's been a lot of people that has been asking about the benches. I understand, because it has been a wide time frame. But I've had a lot more people jumping on me about the bricks and the pavers. It has been every week somebody is on me about that. And there were times I just flat out did not have the time to fool with it. And I'm the one that has taken the project on, because I'm local and I was trying to, keep everything and make it look good, So I appreciate everybody, and I've had a lot of people jumping on me about it. And some people have been polite, some people have not been so polite. But it's when they're and talking with the brick guy, because of shortage of labor, shortage of material, and the rising cost of materials, that getting something takes a lot longer, and getting something done takes a lot longer. Talking to the gentleman who was doing the benches, he went from having a full crew to just 3 employees. And the reason why is he wasn't getting the stones in, because guys were coming into work and there was no material for them to work on. Because he went from a full 18-wheeler a week to a half every 2 weeks, or a quarter every 2 weeks. And so so he had to let people go. He can't keep paying people if nothing's coming in, and stuff's still not coming in like it should. And that's what the brick guy was telling me. Yeah. He said that there's a lot of things that they don't know how they're going to recover, because I know COVID's over. At least they say it is, until they start the next catastrophe. But there has been this lingering effect. And if you don't believe that, go to the grocery store and try to find somebody in there. Go to a hardware store and try to find somebody to help you. And then how many places have we gone and we start to see empty shelves? They're just not getting the material in for them to work with. Mr. Kennedy, you have something to say?
No, I was saying we're right at the halfway point.
Oh, good gracious! I didn't got going good.
Most may want to run the Pop-Tart break, but I did want to tell you that I appreciate you sticking with the Georgia Stone, a fellow that's currently Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief. Back when our father passed away, he went to the place to get the grave marker for our father, and the guy and we had everything figured out, and the guy said, well, this is great stone, it's from Michigan. And Donald said, no, I want Georgia stone, I want Southern stone. And I'm gonna quote him. He said, I don't want no damn Yankee stone on my daddy's grave. Mm-hmm. So, I appreciate that. Moose, do you have the Pop-Tart break ready? We'll go ahead, and before we go to talking about the 21st century Confederate heroes, is that what's up next?
Yes, sir. When we come back, Mr. Kennedy, the floor is yours.
Okay. Moose?
There is a place nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost. Stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
All right. Thank you, Moose. We appreciate, I really appreciate that voice. Forrest Dawes does a great job, and I want to thank him for redoing our radio ads. I'm going to send those new radio ads to our webmaster and Commander. I'll CC you on it so you can listen to them if you haven't already. And hope that they will be shortly posted so everybody can go on. Even if you don't want to put one on the radio, y'all go on and listen to them anyway, because there's some great 50-second ads made specifically for radio. But by all means, listen to them and get them out, and your camps can, especially we're coming up on July the 4th. There's some special ones that we do ads on July the 4th, because that's America's celebration of secession, when the 13 original colonies seceded from Great Britain. So hopefully we can get that out before the end of the month, posted on our Confederate Legion website. And speaking of the Confederate Legion website, if you'll go to scv.org and then click on the Confederate Legion, there's a page there that will tell you about the 21st century Confederate heroes. That'll give you more information than I can give in a short time, because I get a hold of the microphone and I can filibuster. Of course, I'm from Mississippi, but there's a lot of information there. But here's the whole idea of the 21st century Confederate heroes. We're wanting and we're soliciting and we're asking for a minimum of 1,500 Southerners to step up and say, yep, I want to be a 21st century Confederate hero. I'm good for $1,000. A lot of us have written the check up front. There's others of us who've written just a part, and we're on the easy payment plan. So, you don't, you say, well, I can't afford it. Yes, you can. You can put $50 down and start $5 a month if you have to. I'd love to have 10,000 Confederates giving $5 a month. I mean, you stop and think about that. We've got the potential to raise the money. Now, why are we wanting to raise this money? I've got a different take on it. The Kennedys have a different take on it than some of the other people. We're not raising this money to pay for a museum. We're raising this money to take that debt off of the Sons of Confederation, liquidate that debt, use that. Man, we're paying, I don't know the exact amount. I'm going to be wrong. Somewhere between $8,000 and $15,000 a month we are paying to a bank to pay off this mortgage. Now, we can pay it off. That's no problem, but it'll be 5 years down the road. Now, we're being attacked right now. And as your chief of heritage promotion, I can tell you one thing: we can spend that $8,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 a month a lot better ways than paying it to a bank. So we get this, we get you onto the 21st century Confederate Heroes plan. You start paying off your $1,000 donation. There's a lot of perks that go along with it. Everybody's going to have their own special neck ribbon. I believe it's royal blue. We came up with a neck ribbon with a beautiful medallion here that you can wear. You don't even have to be an SCV member. The ladies can wear them if they. Anyone can join this and help us liquidate this debt, so we can take this money and put it to work, winning in the court of public opinion. We will never be able to win a fundamental victory, a major strategic victory in the federal government's courts. You can see how the neo-Marxists, the liberals, those who hate us, who hate conservative principles that we love, that our ancestors love, they hate the Constitution. They will use a legal system against anyone that they view as an enemy. And they certainly view Confederates as an enemy. But we can win in the court of public opinion. And if we win in the court of public opinion, we will have most of the lawsuits will never be filed. If they are filed, our possibility of winning will be much, much higher at the local level. Now, in addition to liquidating that bank mortgage, we're also going to use part of those funds to complete the Forest Plaza. Now, that's going to be a great show when we get that finished. So, and we can do it. We can do this within the next 18 months. We can get it done if enough of our people will see the vision and say, yes, I want the SCV to go on the offensive. I want a massive public relations campaign going on. I want that money spent promoting our cause, promoting the SCV. If we do this, we do it right, I'll guarantee you within 3 years' time, we will double the membership of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Even if we just get another 5,000 members, most of our money issues will go away. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. We've got the potential. We've got the opportunity if our people will step up and say, yes, I will join this 21st century Confederate Heroes campaign. I will commit to it. You can go online. You can make your initial, if you want to write a check for $1,000, fine. Make sure you put in the memo, 21st century Confederate Heroes. Put that in the memo line, or you can go online and do it online. If you want to pay it on your credit card, then pay the credit card off a little bit at a time. There's many ways that you can get this done. And don't think that, well, I can't afford $1,000. Well, yes, you can. Just put up $50 to begin with and start with $5 a month if that's all you can afford. But I know that you want to win this fight, and if you'll get with it, join us, help us, we will liquidate this debt. We will put Forrest back where he belongs, up on the pedestal with that Forrest Plaza completed, and we're going to have a big celebration. And look, we can't have 100,000 people at Elm Springs. It just won't quite fit. So the people that get the tickets to this great celebration when we put Forrest back up on his pedestal and have that plaza done, the people that contribute to and are part of the Confederate heroes, they get first choice at the ticket to come to that and be a part of that celebration. That's 1,500 people. We can certainly will get more than 1,500 people at that celebration. But you want to be up close. You want to be at the prime area. You don't want to be way back, as we say in when we at the Saints game. I don't want to be up at the nosebleed section. I want to be up close to where the action is. So
yes,
you're going to get your neck ribbon to show. And listen, you get your neck ribbon as soon as you sign up. So you don't have to get it paid off completely to get your neck ribbon. Now, your neck ribbon belongs to the Sons of Confederate Veterans until you get your total payment made. So if you quit on us, we'll call it back. So you got to give it back to us. I want to see a lot of people, and I believe the Commander-in-Chief plans on giving out some of these neck ribbons at the National Reunion. Is that right, Commander-in-Chief?
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. If you'll bring $1,000 check to the National Reunion, we'll do it from the floor, and you'll get your gewgaw from the floor. You'll get your neck ribbon. We'll do it right there during the business session.
That'll be a great celebration, a great way to really show the world what the Sons of Confederate Veterans is. Now, remember, this bank mortgage, we're not going bankrupt. We can pay it off. If you want to sit around 5 more years while the neo-Marxists take down monuments and attack us and smear us, then that's fine. That's what'll happen. But if you'll join this effort, we'll pay off this mortgage, and we'll use that funds to finance a public relations campaign that the world has never seen before. The Sons of Confederate Veterans are on the move, on the march. We're fighting, and we're putting our message out. And once we start doing that, you're going to see more national media wanting to interview us, because right now we're a well-kept secret. But once we start spending $10,000 a month in PR campaigns across the South, across the nation, you're going to see a lot of activity. Now, in addition to the neck ribbon, there's other things that you'll have. It's all in that about a page and a half, 2 pages right up on the Confederate Legion website. Go take a look. You'll have a neck ribbon. You're going to have a paver. I'm not sure who's going to be making the paver. You'll have a paver. We're going to have a walkway from the museum all the way to the plaza, the Forrest Plaza. So your name, or if you want to honor your ancestors, or if you want to honor your camp, I'm going to challenge, and Commander, this goes to you as a challenge, not as a chief, God bless you, but as a Tennessean. There was a really fine, strong Southerner, SCV member. He wrote books, Flags of the Confederacy, Devereaux Cannon. I don't know how many people in Tennessee still remember Devereaux Cannon. He was a fine, good, hardworking, great Southerner and attorney. He passed away too soon, But I think someone should make a donation in memory of Devereaux Cannon, and I'll make a donation to it because Devereaux was a good friend. But so you can do these. You can have these pavers in memory of someone that you've lost, someone who you or think the world of. You can do it for your camp. There's just any number of things you can memorialize on this walkway going from the museum to the plaza. But the important thing is we'll free up these funds to start an attack against the enemy that they never will be expecting. We can do it, folks. And I think I've taken up more time than I should have talking about it. Go to sev.org, click on the Confederate Legion logo, and look, you'll see 21st century Confederate heroes. You can read about everything. Did I cover it sufficiently, Commander?
Yes, sir. You did a fantastic job. And in fact, I want to compliment you on something you said, because I am starting to see the museum debt is there, but the museum debt, we have been paying on it. Like you said, we're not going broke. We're not bankrupt. It's in the budget to be able to make the payment. But I'll go ahead and tell you, and it's been talked about from the floor, the payment each month is nearly $13,000. So you know what that's costing us a year to do it. Eliminating the debt is the gateway for us to get back to doing or create a new force out there to get the message out there and to do what our ancestors want us to do when they gave us the charge.
Right.
Now, it is the gateway. It is the key to the gateway, because that's going to free up enough funds for us to do what we should be doing. But it's like you. If you hadn't scheduled to have a car payment and your car blows up on you and you have to go buy a car, all of a sudden you don't have that extra money to take your wife out to eat, so take your family out or go on vacation. It's the same thing with this, because even though you can still make the payments and do everything you're needing to do, it's taking something away from something else you need to be doing. That's and right. This is the gateway. And I want to thank you for saying it that way. But I also want to talk about the streamers. Now, if you do it as an individual, you get the neck ribbon. Yeah. If you do it as a camp, you get a streamer. You're going to have a streamer for your camp flag. Those are being done as well. Now, I don't know how many of those are going to be there at National Reunion, but I'm going to try to have as many as I can. I've asked her to make as many of the neck ribbons as she can and as many of the streamers as she can. Right now, the neck ribbons, we're waiting on the metal to come in. As soon as those metals come in, they're going to be good to go. So I'm hoping those are going to be in real soon. We started this a long time ago, months ago, but as you know, it just takes a while to get some of this stuff done. Now, I'm going to go ahead, sir. Then I want to talk about something else.
My twin brothers reminded me, it's in the comments, so y'all can look at the comment, but all members will receive neck ribbon, a book with their members' information on it. So if you're myself, my oldest son, I lost my oldest son, I'm going to do a page and a paver in memory of him. And in this book of 21st century Confederate heroes, he'll have a page with pictures of him, and he was a reenactor with the 12th Louisiana. So that'll go in there. You can do it for yourself. If you can do it for an ancestor, you can do it for someone that you admire. But so you'll get the neck ribbon, the book, and the master copy of that book, and it'll end up being 3 volumes, folks, will be kept at the museum. But everyone that contributes will get the volume that their contribution is in. So if you're in the first volume, you'll be in the first, second, or third volume. I hope we have to have 10 volumes. Yeah, I mean, that's fine with me.
Yes. We're not limiting this to 1,500. If all 27,000 of you do it, hallelujah. That's right. That's more of us to get out there. And don't feel like you can do one and done. I'm doing one for Linda and myself. I'm doing one as my time for Commander-in-Chief. And then I'm doing one for my dad.
Yeah.
And, that's what you can do for that. So don't think, okay, what am I going to do with multiple neck ribbons or anything like that?
But you're building a legacy that your great-grandchildren will point back.
Yeah. Yes.
And like I say, I've already paid one for my son, but Donald and I are doing one for the Kennedy twins. Well, he's the rich Kennedy. He paid his $500. I'm paying mine a little bit at a time because I can't afford it. So I know that there's people just like me that can't do it all at one time, or can't do two of them at one time, but you can pay it off over time. I think that's enough on 21st century.
Well, I would like to talk on something, and that is ads, because you were mentioning the ads earlier. There was an old ad out there, and I'm not going to say it old. It's a previous ad about fake history, and we have been trying to find that ad about fake history, and we need it because we got a camp that is in California that already has a radio station that is waiting on this ad so they can play this fake radio ad, fake history radio ad. So I've tried to find it. I can't find it. I don't know, on somebody's server, somebody might have it somewhere, but it was a fake history ad is what they're calling it. I haven't seen it. I think this goes all the way back to some earlier ads. You remember Ron Castile and the ads he did back then? I just wonder if it might have been some of those. I'm trying to find it. So if anybody knows anything about this ad, it's called Fake History Ad.
And it's a radio ad.
Yes, sir. It's a radio ad.
Do you know how long? Is it a 30-second, 50-second, 2 minutes?
I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't mean that, but you might.
But if we can do that, if somebody's got it, send it to me at the at General Headquarters, or send it to Adam, and we can get it to the California people. And I know that go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, finish that. I wanted to just make one point.
Go for it.
Well,
I was fixing to move on.
I'm looking at the comments, and Dr. Sandy Mitchum, when we were talking about the national media will have to see us, we'll have to start recognizing it. And he said, I want to see you on The View. So, Sandy, I don't think you'll see us on The View, not because we don't want to be there, because I don't want to be amongst those people, but maybe the 5 on Fox News. That's what we're looking for.
I mean, good gracious, I'd like to be on Dan Bongino and a bunch of these podcasts that are out there. That's where I want to be, because the people that listen to them,
that's right,
are the people that are going to be interested in joining our organization. You know, there's a reason why that Christ went and hung out with the sinners, because that's where you find people to convert. And that's what you have to do. You have to go to where the sinners are. He had to go to where the sinners were. If you keep going to church, there's nobody there to convert. But if you go and you find the sinners, you can convert them. So we need to be at the places like Dan Bongino, people that are basically conservative or a libertarian. I'm not saying liberals, libertarians. And those are the people that think like us. I didn't pay any attention to the comments. I just clicked over there. Sammy Mitchell wants to see me take on Whoopi Goldberg. I'm just going to let that go. We might talk about that at the after meeting at a national reunion. How about that?
But I believe we could get a pay per view. We can make a lot of money off of that.
Oh, we could. Yes, we could. Let's go to the recap of some events from May, because right now we're real behind time. We've already been on nearly an hour. So let's recap some of the events. We had the pilgrimage and homecoming. That was May the 4th. Jenny Wadowski, the President General of the United Daughters of the Confederacy, was the keynote speaker. We had a bigger turnout than we have had. This was our 4th time doing it. We had a good turnout, great turnout the first time. Second time, third time was a little light. We had a great turnout for this one. And then, of course, the UDC was out and, supporting their President General. I want to thank General Jenny Wadowski for coming and speaking and doing that. That was also the day of the Army of Tennessee workshop, which I did not get to attend it except for the very end. They asked me to come in to say something. But when I went in, it was a room full of people. So I know that it was a good turnout. And from what I did hear, and people have told me, kind of an after action report, that it went very well. that it was a good turnout, and not only a good turnout, but there was a whole lot of information out there. I know Eric Prevedi gave a talk. I mean, that's a great place to go to find out what you need to do to be an adjutant or a commander and to actually have to run a camp. Because when you're running a camp, you are conducting the business of the camp. So you know, that tells you everything you need to do to dot the T's, cross the I's. And that was the way I was always taught to say it, was dot the T's until your I's cross. So those are important. And I hope that these continue. I've hosted them before. I've attended them before, and I always have a great time. Then I went and I visited with our members up in Michigan. We have camps in Michigan, and we have some very, very good, hardworking members up in Michigan. And the museum that I was at, which was the Michigan Military Heritage Museum, that was where I spoke. I have been there three times now. They had a great turnout. They actually talk about the war, and they talk about two brothers that were up there from Michigan. One fought for the Federals, one fought for the Confederacy. And it talks, and there's a display, and it talks about it. So that was a good turnout. And I'm going to let you talk about Louisiana.
Well, I'm just going to say that we had a great convention. I think there's going to be a check presented at the national reunion for the museum. I won't say any more than that, but Louisiana is proud to be stepping up and doing as much as we can to help out. It was a good reunion. Bobby Herring, who has been the Deputy Chief of Heritage Promotion, was elected as the commander for the Louisiana Division, and I'm very happy for that. Bobby's a great man, so I appreciate that. What about the Lee Jackson Park in Virginia? You were up there, weren't you?
Oh, man. Yes, sir. It was the 1-year anniversary. They opened that park a year ago. You and I were there. Yep. And, of course, they run up the mega flag for the first time. This was on I-81, just outside Lexington, Virginia. And the Lee, the Stonewall Jackson Brigade was one that hosted the event. And they're the ones that's maintaining Lee Jackson Park. It has greatly changed within the last year. National Sons of Confederate Veterans donated the money to be able to put a flagpole up. And our logo flag has been flying up there. Before I left to go up, I talked with Adam, said, hey, we need to take them some more flags. So we took them some more flags for them to keep flying for the next year. What the boys up there are doing, they have expanded the grounds as far as clearing everything off. It is, if you would have, that they've added several things. If you get a chance, go back. Yep. You will see some changes from where you were, and I want to thank them for all the work that they're doing on that. Go ahead, sir.
Just quickly, I hope that the folks from Virginia, the Stonewall Brigade, or it's the camp that's doing it.
Yes, sir. They call themselves the Stonewall Brigade. That's the name of the camp.
The camp, that they will hire a professional with a drone and get some images that we can show everybody else on SCV chat maybe one night.
Oh, I think that would be a great thing. In fact, I'll reach out to a couple of the gentlemen because there were some drones that were flying that day. Yeah. So I'll say, hey, if y'all got some video footage you'd like to share, hey, I think that'd be a great thing to do. Good idea, Mr. Kennedy. And while I was up there, I was very blessed to speak at Blandford Cemetery. And I can tell you the whole story with that, with the Blandford Church, and to be at that cemetery with 30,000+ Confederates that are buried there. And to be there and just think about the magnitude of everything there. Wow. And over 30,000 Confederates are buried there. And they have them broken down by state. And they have a gazebo, and I'm speaking from the gazebo. And I look out through there, and I see the Tennessee state flag flying. And that's my Tennessee boys. Mm-hmm. And I went down and I visited with my Tennessee boys, and they have them broken down by state. Anytime that you are in that area, please go to Blandford Cemetery, Blandford, and please go there and just go stand amongst those men. When you realize where you're standing, there's just, I wish I had words. I mean, I actually had a very short talk. It was only like 15, 20 minutes, which is real short for me. Anybody who's heard me talk. Storms were moving in. That was another thing as well. It started raining on us before we ended. I didn't get to say everything that was in my heart and in my mind. But because that place, when you're there and you just walk amongst them, and I wish I had the words to say. And I want to thank everybody up there who has worked to make that happen and works to maintain the property, keep the flags flying. They had a memorial service. They do a memorial service before they have the Blandford Confederate service, where they put a Southern Cross of Honor on somebody. And they had one there that morning at 10 o'clock. I didn't know about it, or I would have been there at 10. Our service started at 11, and I get there early. It's about 10:15, and there's some people gathered around a stone. And it's just to know what they're doing up there. I wish I had the words. That is a place that every time that I'm ever going to be in that area, I'm just going to go there just to stand among them. And then the Blandford Church is there.
Okay, we're at 8:05. Let's
okay.
keep moving.
Okay. I'll keep it, but that is a humbling place, and to go to Blandford Church and see the stained glass and everything that's there from all of them. And then I was with the Kennedy twins at Huguenot.
Yeah, Moose, throw that picture up of us at Virginia. If I hadn't walked, there you go. Now you'll see the Virginia Division Commander. I see Tony Griffin and my twin brother, myself, and look at that. There is Jason Boshers. He's always somewhere around when there's Confederate flags flying. We had a great time. Had a good turnout. Had people from Tennessee, Louisiana, South Carolina, as well as Virginia there. People from the United Daughters of the Confederacy, the Children of the Confederacy. I believe somebody was there from the MOS&B, and of course a great artillery group there firing off cannons. A great time. I really enjoyed myself in Virginia. And like you, as we were walking up to put the wreath up, I just happened to glance down, and there was a burial site for a Confederate soldier from the 8th Louisiana Infantry. So, like I told the folks up in Virginia, Virginia belongs to them, but our blood is in Virginia as well. Yeah, we're all kith and kin. Yes. All right, what about some upcoming events? What's we got coming up?
Well, I know we have a couple of reunions coming up this weekend. We have Mississippi and Texas. I'll be in Mississippi. Where are you going to be this weekend?
Well, that's interesting. Donald's going to be in Mississippi. I will be in Grand Bay, Alabama, speaking to the Danny H. Murray Camp 1754. So I'll be in Alabama this weekend. So we're trying to cover as much space as we can.
Yeah, yes, sir. And also this coming weekend, they're also going, even though the national event got canceled for Fairview, Kentucky, they're still going to be having an event up there. It's a division level event. So I still want to make people aware that they're going to be up there doing something up there. And if anybody's in that area, y'all please go and see that. And then the callways, the third Saturday in June. Third Saturday in June is the Bar Forest Boyhood Homecoming. I will be there. I think the Kennedys are busy.
Be there. Yeah, my Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief, Donnie.
He's going to be there?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we got that coming up. And then, of course, we got a little thing called the National Reunion. Oh, I got to touch on something. I-30 in Arkansas, they're putting a mega flag up. It was supposed to have been ready for us to be there at Hot Springs at the National Reunion, but like everything else that got delayed during that whole time period. It is now happening. They're going to be dedicating that on the next Saturday, on the 4th Saturday. So I will be up there for that. And I want to, because it's a mega flag going up in Arkansas. I got to be there.
Right.
And I want to thank them for inviting me to come and to be there. Those guys have put a tremendous amount of effort, and they stuck with it because they had a lot of setbacks. They had a lot of delays, and they kept on it. Thank you, gentlemen. Then we've got the national reunion, but I'm going to jump past the national reunion because the weekend after the national reunion, we're going to be hosting the 3rd annual Rebel Rouser car show, a cruise-in. Excuse me, it's not a car show; it's a cruise-in at the general headquarters. You know, last year we had a fantastic turnout with that. These are car people, and they come onto our property. They have the pictures made in front of the flagpole with the battle flag flying. They tour the museum. They tour the home. Nobody has a problem. Everybody comes and everybody has a great time. They love our facility. They love our paved parking lot. That is the reason why that they keep coming back, because they're not parking in the middle of a chopped down hayfield. They are they're parking on gravel. They're parking on pavement, and they have a great time there. So this is our 3rd annual one. Each one of them, the first had a great one at the first one. The second one was bigger, and I'm looking for this one to continue to grow. And then something that has languished, because there's been a lot of stuff that has been put on the back burners due to everything that has happened, and just not enough time and people and resources to get it done. And that was to bring back the great revivals in the Southern Armies Conference. I was approached by 2 gentlemen. I've been approached on and off over the time that I've been Commander-in-Chief. Hey, we need to bring this back. We need to bring this back. Because I know they did one in 19. I don't know if they did one in 20. I don't know that they have done one since the one in 19. But Mr. Sprinkle passed away, and it's one of those things that has COVID hit, and then it just got put to the side. But it's back, and it's going to be September 14th. And it is going to be at Elm Springs. It's going to be in the conference room at Elm Springs. There's going to be an ad for it in the upcoming Confederate Veteran magazine. Now, we're starting it now, and I know that your brother is running for Commander-in-Chief. So I asked him about it, and he was all for it. It was something he was already planning on doing. Right. He already had his ears set back on this. So this is going to be fantastic. We just picked the date. He told us go ahead and pick the date, and then we're just going to run with it. More details are going to be upcoming, but there's going to be an ad in the upcoming Confederate Veteran, and you're going to see ads on the Telegraph. But sounded like your brother was very interested in this, which is fantastic. And I like he's going to keep it going. Yes, sir. You wanted to say something?
I just wanted to comment that on the big mega flag raising in Arkansas, we've got things going on all over the Confederation. I see Landon Johnson said on August the 3rd, Robert A. Toombs Camp ribbon cutting on a new monument.
Yes.
A new monument going up there, flags going up there. Moose, do you have the Texas tonight? There was a new monument going up. Now I'm gonna ruin my Spanish, but it's Tejano State statute is now in the great state of Texas, and it says that they're putting it up now. And I wish I could have been there to celebrate our Hispanic heritage and the Confederacy, and I want to congratulate them for doing this. Listen, this is something that we always say that the enemy, the evil ones, they can pull them down, but we put them up, and we put them up 2 for 1. And that's one of the things. You can take that down now, Moose. That's one of the ones I want to congratulate the folks with the Alamo City Guards for getting this done. I wish I could have been there with you. But yes, remember, they take them down, we put them up. We put them up 2 for 1. We're putting flags up. We're putting monuments up. And listen, this coming April, the new administration, if it turns out to be my twin brother, and says he has no one running against him at this time, I told him, don't quit running. You ain't there yet, boy. But if he
that was the way I was.
if he is elected commander-in-chief, come April, we're going to have, and with Tony Griffin's help, who was the division commander in Virginia, they put up 10 billboards in Virginia. Well, we want to duplicate that across the entire Confederacy. And if your state can't afford, if your division can't afford 10, well, put up one. If you just put up one, you can then take a picture of that, and every camp member in your division can send that picture to your local elected officials, your local agents of influence, and say, we are celebrating and we invite you to join us in celebrating Confederate Heritage Month. So this is going to be a great thing that we're doing, hopefully in 2025. So we look forward to that. But remember, they pull them down, we put them up 2 for 1. And another thing, Jason, Commander, I want us to do is to get a count on the new monuments and new flagpoles that we have put up since that great debacle when a certain scallywag governor in a southern state started this mad riot to pull down Confederate monuments. I'm not going to call her name because she doesn't deserve to have her name mentioned. But nonetheless, I want to know from that date to now how many new monuments, new grave markers, new flagpoles we have put up, how many monuments we've saved and put them in a place. A lot of these monuments were removed from let's say less than ideal areas of the city or the county or the parish in Mississippi and put where they can be enjoyed by the general public. So all this is great victory, but we want to get this documented and we want to send it to every elected moderate and conservative elected official in the South. So let them know who we are and what we're doing, and we are an activist group. Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this. You just heard it from our Chief of Heritage Operations, Mr. Ron Kennedy. If you put one up, let us know. Mm-hmm. If you know of one that has gone up. And, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Christian mouths should not say certain words. And that's the reason why we're not going to mention this politician's name. Those Christian mouths should not say those words. But we don't know who we're talking about. So any of them that have gone up, let us know. One thing we need to do, we're awful quick when bad news comes out, it makes it everywhere. We do something good, something positive, it just doesn't get out. People will mention it. Hey, yeah, we put a flag up. Okay, that's good. The flag come down here, and it's just for 2 weeks. It's a flood on social media. And what is it? What was it? Winston Churchill said that a rumor makes it around the world before the truth can put its pants on.
That's right.
So when you do something positive, get it out there. Okay. So let us know so we can get it out there and say, okay, over the last 10 years nearly, this is what we've done.
Okay. All right. What about our Southern Heritage Center will be open future dates? Do you have those?
Well, here's the deal. We've already been open for June. We were open the first weekend in June. As you know, July is our national reunion. Talking with Adam, we're trying to set a date for July because the date, see if there's going to be a way for us to be open, because the week we have national reunion, it is essentially closed 2 weekends in July, because we're getting prepped to leave, to get there, and then coming back. So right now they're working on that. And whoever is the next commander-in-chief will get to talk to Adam and communicate with Adam about the dates, because Adam will set those dates, because he has to have somebody to be there to open the place and to be able to sell merchandise, be able to do tours. And that's one thing that he'll need to communicate, and the new commander-in-chief will need to communicate. So I'm going to ask him. I'll see him. He's going to be in Mississippi.
Good.
So we'll talk to him in Mississippi, see if we can get a date set, and we'll get it out for July. Now, we know this. The last weekend in July, it's going to be open because that's the date of the car show. So that's probably going to be the date in July is the date of the car show. So as far as August and all that go, whoever's the next commander-in-chief and the executive director will get together and work on those.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead.
What's going on with Arlington?
Oh, Arlington. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we all know what has happened there. There was an appeal, and what it was being asked at one time was to do a joint appeal. It is not a joint appeal. It is a separate appeal and brief that we have had to submit. So right now that is being presented. So Arlington is far from being over with. The fight is still ongoing. Not a whole lot more I can say about that other than this one thing. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. 2024 National Reunion in Charleston. I'm going to read what Rick Little. Rick Little is the ramrod for Secession Camp number 4 that has been working to host this. And Rick, thank you. You've been fantastic. And he says this: Secession Camp 4 is looking forward to hosting our national reunion in Charleston. It's just 5 weeks from now. 5 weeks. There is still time to register. Most tours are still available. Unfortunately, and he says it this way, unfortunately, my Florida friends are going to be disappointed. The Saturday night dinner cruise has had to be canceled. But the Friday cruise is still a go. The host hotel begins renovation on July 1. They will be displacing several people who have already secured a room in the embassy suites. This is most unfortunate to all who have booked rooms months ago, but there's nothing we can do about it. But buses will be provided to get you to the meetings and other functions. So even though they're moving you to another hotel, they're providing transportation for you to make it back and forth. 5 weeks away. If you're waiting till the last minute, it's the 11th hour, folks. It's time to get it in there. And now I have an update from Michael Hurley on the 2025 National Reunion. And his is a little bit longer, so it's going to take me a minute. It is my pleasure to provide you with the brief. Okay, the reunion website, which will go live on July the 18th on 2024. It's in the final stages of development. It is designed by the same IT professionals who created it for Charleston. The tours, here are a few of the highlights. They have a captivating tour planned for Thursday, July 17th, led by Ed Cotham, author of The Battle of Galveston. We will explore historic sites associated with the Confederate victory in Galveston, Texas. Our visit will also include a Galveston cemetery tour guided by Kathleen, and I don't know if it's Maca or Maca, M-A-C-A. I have heard it pronounced both ways. If I've pronounced your name incorrectly, please forgive me. It's a guided tour of Confederate graves, including those of 3 generals. On Friday the 18th, our trip will feature a guided tour of the San Jacinto battlefield, home to the Texas victory over Santa Anna and the birthplace of Texas. We'll also travel to the Catholic cemetery and visit the grave of Dick Dowling and hear of the Battle of Sabine Pass. It is one of the more fascinating Confederate victories in the entire war. Have a ladies' tour on Saturday the 19th, which will include a luncheon and a tour of historic homes in Galveston, Texas. The menu selections have been made with the catering staff. The medals have been ordered and paid for. We will have 100 limited edition commemorative numbered medals for sale at the Charleston Reunion. So you'll be able to buy them early at the Charleston Reunion. The Texas Division will hold its annual reunion this weekend, and I will recruit men to staff our registration booth at Charleston. Our division videographer has almost completed a video that will be used as an introduction and invitation at the 2024 reunion. We had one of those last year. Transportation has been done. OCR is working to coordinate and provide decorations. They will have debutantes. Tammy Hurley, who's the wife of Michael Hurley, will serve as the debutante chair. The hotel link will be available and rooms can be booked starting July 18th of 2024. So if you're planning on going to Texas, come to Charleston, get you a reunion medal, book your room, and register. Now, upcoming national reunions, that's 24 and 25. Just so you know, nothing is finalized, but there's people that I'm in good conversations with about 2026. It's going to be a great location. Its details are being worked out. Right now, I've asked them to try to have me something at the pre-reunion meeting on that Wednesday for the GEC to vote on and make a presentation to the membership about 2026. Now, we already have another group that has spoke up about 27, but nothing, all it is just, hey, we might be interested in 27. We have had that happen a lot over the last handful of years. A camp, brigade, division will say, hey, what about it? And they look into it and it never comes to fruition. But this one is being talked about. 26 looks really good. 27 is recent. And there's already somebody talking about 28. Now, I say 27 and 28 is just in conversation. So we need people to step up and host these national reunions. If you get it in early and let us know about it and get it on the books, pick your date. And just letting you know, but 26 isn't fully in the books yet. I'm hoping that we will have something in the next 5 weeks.
All right. What else you got for us, Commander? We're at 27 minutes beyond our usual time.
Gracious. Hour and a half. I want to remember one thing. I skipped over it. It was on my notes. I wrote it down. Yes, I have to use a cheat sheet.
Yeah,
and I skipped right past it. I told you about the Forest Boyhood Home on that Saturday, which is the third Saturday. We've done this the past couple of years. We're going to do it again. And that is we're having a dessert party at Elm Springs that evening and that night. So if you come to the Forest Boyhood Home, hang around for a little bit, and then, venture over to Elm Springs and we'll have a dessert party there. So just letting everybody know, come visit us. It's your museum, your property. So come on.
That's great, Commander. I think we've covered just about everything in an hour and a half. We appreciate all the work you put into it and your.
I'll answer a question. Are booths still available for the Forest Boyhood Home coming? Yes, but you'll need to get them into me first come, first serve, which means you'll get the shade. If not, you're going to be out there with the sun hitting you. So. Just thought I would say that, first come, first serve, they get the best spots.
Yeah. If you get out in the sun, you need to have a fly or a tent or something to protect you.
Yes, sir.
With that, I think we'll end this. Is our next to last session with Commander-in-Chief Jason Boshers. It is the next to last. What are you talking about? No, July.
Well, they're saying in July they have a special one. And they have, this is our last Commander's Comments. Now,
I wish
Moose is on here. Moose is on here, and Moose can say that. But I believe I heard them say Monday night on SCV Chat that they have something special planned for the one in July for Commander's Comments.
All right.
Now, Moose, is that right or not? You can chime in, put it in the message. If not, I'll see y'all folks in July. If not, if it is true, thank you for allowing me to be your Commander-in-Chief. It has been an honor to serve you. Thank you for everything that you've done for me. There have been good times. There have been bad times. I have done good things and I have made mistakes. I'm a human being. Thank y'all for everything.
And Commander, thank you for allowing me to be your Chief of Heritage Operation.
Yeah.
You've been an inspiration. You've been a hard worker. I tell you, I'm really amazed at the amount of work that the Commander-in-Chief is required to put, not just you, but every Commander-in-Chief who's had that position. And it's such a difficult task. You've got so many balls in the air trying to juggle everything.
Yeah.
And usually your home life suffers. And thank God your wife is there supporting you. She's been wonderful. I can't say enough nice things about her. You're a lucky man. I don't know how she puts up with you, but there'll be stars in her crown in glory.
She's ready for sainthood. They should make her a saint, because putting up with me is not easy.
With that, we are finished with looks like the last commander's comment with Commander-in-Chief Jason Boshers and Chief of Heritage Operation Ron Kennedy. I appreciate everything y'all have done. I appreciate the comments. I try to keep up with them as we go through. And those of you who've managed to stick with it the whole time, God bless you. And I'm looking forward to seeing the special commander's comment in July, that I don't have to put all the stuff on. I can just relax. With that, y'all stay Southern, and remember, we don't just say the cause, we do the cause.
We live it. It is us. We are it.